Those local NGOs have highlighted how, in terms of working in that cross-border way, one of the issues is that NGOs cannot bring goods across the border to Syria and are forced to buy goods there where supplies are extremely limited and extremely expensive due to the prolonged conflict. Again, it's crucial that humanitarian aid is able to operate in a cross-border way in this cross-border disaster. Meanwhile, international news organisations are also reporting that aid has been slow to reach those who need it due to the sanctions in Syria, and it is important that they do not get in the way of this crucial humanitarian response. I would urge the Minister to engage with his Turkish counterparts and his colleagues at EU and UN level to ensure vital aid is able to reach the communities in northwest Syria who are so badly affected. Minister, this compounds existing tragedies. We know that 6.7 million people in Syria are already internally displaced and are near that Syria-Turkey border. There has also been a cholera outbreak for a while now in northwest Syria since September 2022, and I would urge you to engage with the Minister for Health around the possibility of sending medical equipment, given that along with this disaster there are those existing and now compounded by hypothermia threats and weather threats to public health. This disaster has happened in a place where the social fabric has been damaged by war, and issues such as poverty and poor housing were already affecting the communities. NGOs on the ground are calling out for medical supplies, plastic sheeting, fuel, transport, ambulances, tents, machines to remove the debris and materials to construct reception centres. I would note that as well as the internally displaced within Syria, Syria also and Turkey also host refugees from other places in the world. There are, for example, 57,000 Palestinian refugees who are estimated to be affected by this disaster. And the UN Relief Works Agency, UNRWA, have called separately for relief to target those who are the most vulnerable, often amongst the vulnerable, in a place which is already experiencing long-time humanitarian crisis. Minister, I hope you can let me know what Ireland will be doing and also what messages and engagement Ireland has with the international community around the response. You spoke about the incredible bravery of the humanitarian workers who are there, and I think when we look to the scenes we've seen, such as the 7-year-old girl protecting her brother's head for 17 hours, and we've seen the humanitarian workers who are working at great danger to themselves, I think it behoves us to really think about what it is for those who would have us turn our back on those in need. Our fellow humanity, which are indeed each person precious and each person part of our common hope and our common responsibility. Minister, I am concerned that after the immediate peace that we may see a pulling away, because we saw the amount of European resources, for example, that have gone into building a wall between Turkey and Syria. And we know that the border crossing issue is a significant issue in terms of humanitarian resources being able to cross over. So if you could address that issue in terms of ensuring that there will be resource, that there will be sustained and indeed increased support. You mentioned the standing support for the UN Central Emergency Response Fund, and I mentioned the UN Relief Works Agency. They will need additional funds given the scale of this disaster. And also, if you could comment on the diplomatic engagement in ensuring that there doesn't become a border blockage in terms of humanitarian aid accessing northern Syria in particular.